comments on my channel. Lost or inherent? Something deeply ails humanity. Is it how humans have always been? Is it situational? Or is it deliberately manufactured by continuous inundating propaganda that is id driven, inciting our animal instinct through fear, intimidation, and threats of impending doom? Or are we seeing a new creature of doom emerging that pushes cohesion away and welcomes division and nihilism? What I'm talking about is, as I've put myself out there on social media, if I get people to respond to my videos, they're overwhelmingly thankful, and it's quite positive. And there are the occasional extremely offensive expletive using just nonsense, and I don't even worry about those, that. But then there are questions that these people, some of the people who somehow end up getting my short clips, are not happy with what they hear, because I guess they kind of thought I was going to say something very different from what I do or did. And so what I thought I'll do today is I'll go through these, about 15 of these. So, and I'll talk about the comment made, and then I'll say what I said, if I said anything. The first one: why is it that the US is expected to provide aid to the world? Could not the oil-rich Arab countries do that? And I say, I have a question for you. Why won't we provide aid to the world if we are able to? We've been doing it for over 80 years, and it has only strengthened our ties with smaller countries. But not anymore. Now we live in a world dominated by China. You better brush up on your Mandarin. So, it's also interesting that question, and I put it first because in my Christmas message this past December, I talked about, being our brother's keepers, about welcoming, and when we have a chance to serve others, and to see the greater good in that. And it just so happens that many people, this is representative. There are others who say of some variation of what I'm reading to you today. Second one: I shouldn't have to pay taxes for some unga bunga who nature would have slated for natural extinction based on survival of the fittest, survive only for their populations to explode and for them to invade my own people's countries, plunder our resources, and make my own people a minority in our homelands. That's, your very, very typical bigot response. And I said, is that what your ancestors were saying when they were plundering and continue to plunder vulnerable countries? No other idiotic race in the world sought to conquer the new world. It was white people. And unless you are referring to the Caucasus Mountain region in Eastern Europe, white people, Caucasians, are migrants everywhere else. Get your head out of your behind. And obviously there's some, some obvious exceptions to that, but the nomenclature of Caucasian is generally put on white people. And if you're talking about white supremacy and bigotry like this person was, it's important to remind you where you come from and how limited your reach really is when you're talking about your roots. Third one: Biden left behind a dead economy. Why are you lying? Edit: And to add to this, it's going to take years for the damage to be fixed. Your implication is that Trump can just snap his fingers and fix that level of damage in 1 year? You leftists are still living in an illusion. Okay, first of all, The Economist called Biden's economy the envy of the world, and there was a 0% chance of recession across the board, across pundits, about Biden's economy. In the last year of Biden's economy, because of Biden's policies in the Inflation Reduction Act, in the Infrastructure Act that created manufacturing jobs, and by going after price gouging from corporations, Biden started to bring inflation down. So with that reference, I said Donald himself made that promise. Cost of living down on day one. That was his pitch. End of Ukraine invasion on day one. That was his pitch. And I'll take what economists say over what you claim. Biden was handed a COVID crash. Without Biden, our country would not have recovered from the COVID crash. Many countries are still reeling from it. So take your blinders off for a minute and stop seeing through the lens of blue and red. Our country deserves better. Then there is the fourth comment. Somebody find his name and see if he's actually a citizen or economy to be fair. I don't know what economy to be fair means, but one of the things that is quite prevalent among the people who have negative comments to say is that they're not very good spellers, and they're most definitely not very good at English grammar. So, yeah, I'm a citizen. What about you? Then fifth one, dude, you're crazy. Democrats are 100% to blame for the hike of everything. Let me show you how we got here. Inflation Act, Inflation Reduction Act, he's talking about that. Infrastructure Act, that's what brought manufacturing jobs, and then that was sabotaged by Donald Trump, and now the manufacturing jobs have gone away. Obamacare, millions and millions of Americans saved millions and millions of dollars on subsidized healthcare, on Obamacare. And after 15 years of attacking that program in the courts and politically, Republicans still don't have an alternative to it. And they're still going to vote on whether to actually extend the Obamacare subsidies or not. So, you can shove it with that one. 20 million illegal in 4 years. I don't have the numbers. I don't consider people illegals. So that gives away what this person is. Shutting down schools and businesses during COVID, as if a new pandemic, restrictions during a new pandemic is imprudent, because people didn't die. Over 1 million Americans didn't die because of this cavalier attitude. Letting thieves ransack retail stores and their biggest illusion and involvement in giving our taxpayers money to fraudsters in return for getting votes and kickbacks. I don't even know what that means. So my response to him was, you make as much sense as a raccoon at the dinner table. Reporters, the sixth one, reporters are reporting the truth. Now there's a laugh. Sorry, but you have more holes in your argument than a slice of Swiss cheese. My response was, that's original. Seventh one. So I say foreign insurgents running around in our streets waving foreign flags is pretty good reason to enact the Insurrection Act and call out the Marines. Let's see how well you handle the United States Marine Corps. Semper Fi, God bless our troops. And you are about to witness the power of President Trump and the Marines. Thank God. I said, you are creating a situation that does not exist. Maybe you are confusing Confederate flags with foreign flags. Then his response was, I'm creating a situation that does not exist. I am just as skeptical about that mainstream media shows me as anyone else. But they don't show the foreign flags flying. It is mostly alternate media that shows the groups of foreigners running around waving Palestinian and Mexican flags. So how am I creating that? So mind you, this is the exact sort of argument that right-wing, far-right podcasters spread out, and they go to these peace protests, peaceful rallies that have all sorts of flag in them, and then they pick out the Palestinian flag or the lone Mexican flag, and then they blow that up into what is happening throughout the entire country, when that's not really what's happening. I don't see many Confederate flags flying, and if they were, they at least play a part in our history here in the USA. Yeah, the history of enslavement that so many people in the South still hold on to. You're more proud of that than flying a flag of another ethnicity to identify with other people as this is the same because America is a country of immigrants. You don't have that basic understanding. He says, I'm not a fan of flying a dead Confederate flag. I believe it might be you that is creating a situation that does not exist. And white men in this country had better soon start standing up to this invasion we are witnessing take place. Everywhere from the streets to inside our government, we have treasonous disregard for our nation. I had nothing left for him. It was a waste of time. Then the next one, ninth one. Are you a legal immigrant? This is the second time. The reason why I'm bringing up the second time is because I get that a lot. And yes, I'm an American citizen. My name is Owishik. I'm not going to give you more information because I'm not here to please you. It's not my burden to prove to you that I'm an American citizen. I am an American citizen. I have the necessary papers to prove it. And should the time arise that I have to show those papers, I sure as hell will. But it's not to you. Then, the 10th comment. Where was the Supreme Court blocked the National Guard? That means that President Trump can bring in the Marines and the Army. Illegal immigrants need to go. I mean, again, the writing is just confounding. The bad grammar makes me want to revisit my rhetoric class and see if I remember the rules correctly. The 11th comment. Our entire judicial system from SCOTUS on down is becoming more corrupt and more biased every day. And you'd think that would be kind of coherent. And then they go and say, invite the third world, become the third world. And my response was, how ugly the rest of the inside of your head must be. Third one, Insurrection Act incoming. I said, smiley, with a smiley. I said, you get pleasure out of that? That's demented. No, not demented. Democrats are the demented and demonic people. I say, Democrats aren't pining to see military on America's civilian streets. Did you leave your brain in the fridge or something? Then, the 14th one. Look at all collective, let me see here. Look, you're all collective responsible for Biden, Harris, and supporters' genocide in Gaza and the war in Ukraine, millions of innocents dead. As long as he continues to stop the evil you created, who cares if the economy slightly suffers? So, they're already conceding, some of them, that the economy is suffering, so that's a plus. But my reply to that was, Biden and Harris did not support genocide. U.S. provided and continues to provide aid to Palestinians in need to this day, although a lot of that help disappeared after dismantling of U.S. aid. Biden and Harris did not invade Ukraine. Russia did. Millions of innocent people dead at the hands of tyrants. And I meant Bibi Netanyahu and Vladimir Putin. Not Biden and Harris. Remember, Putin is Trump's friend, not Biden or Obama's. And Putin is a trained KGB operative who knows how to manipulate Trump. So if you are American and you don't see that, there's really nothing anybody can tell you to change your perspective. So That's kind of what I endure with the comments in the extreme end. And you get to see the psychology behind it. And some of the bigotry is just revolting, but and some of my responses, I believe, are a little pointed. But this is a sort of engagement. It's negative engagement, but it gives me a window into how these people think, and it's something mortifying. That do people really think this way? Have they always thought this way? Have majority of people always thought this way? But I will say this: this is not the majority of the comments on my YouTube page. I get a lot of good comments, a lot of thank yous, a lot of questions, a lot of discussions, and I enjoy every single one of them. So with that said, keep commenting, keep talking about it, sharing, liking, and subscribing, and have a good day.